The next presentation takes us back to New York City, where we're going to hear a presentation about public schools and waste reduction. Please welcome Harmony.
All right, hello everyone. My name is Harmony Eberhardt, and today I'm happy to present on behalf of my team our project, Driving Zero Waste Forward in New York City Public Schools. First, let's start by taking a look at the big picture. According to a recent report by the World Bank, if drastic measures are not taken, global waste production is likely to increase 70% by 2050. And nearly 13% of global waste is coming from large cities, with New York City leading the way in the amount of solid waste it produces. Our project seeks to support the New York City Department of Education in expanding zero waste programs within the city's public school system. In New York City, 14 million tons of solid waste is produced annually, which equals the weight of nearly 40 Empire State Buildings. Of this amount, residential and institutional waste accounts for 12,000 tons every day. And New York City's recycling rate is 17%, which is actually half of what it could be. Building on the work of past administrations, in 2015, Mayor de Blasio launched New York City's first zero waste goal as part of his One NYC plan for the city. So zero waste for New York City would mean achieving an ambitious diversion rate from landfill of at least 90% by 2030. Achieving zero waste within New York City public schools by 2030 also happens to be one of 8 One NYC initiatives designed to support the city in reaching this goal. Our client, the Department of Education's Office of Sustainability, is responsible for executing city goals within the school system. The office was founded in 2009. It currently has 19 staff members, including 9 zero waste coordinators. It's part of the DOE's Division of Facilities and is a resource for schools in becoming more efficient. It also trains sustainability coordinators, which is an unpaid but required position by all schools, and it's often taken on by teachers as an additional responsibility. As part of a city mandate, the office launched a Zero Waste Schools pilot program, which is an interagency partnership with the New York City Department of Sanitation and Grow NYC. 109 schools, the majority of which are located along collection routes in Manhattan and Brooklyn, were selected to achieve a zero waste goal within 5 years. And in school year 2016-17, Zero Waste Schools achieved a waste diversion rate of 60% through recycling and organics programs. The long-term goal is to take best practices and expand them throughout the city. So building on the momentum of Zero Waste Schools, the office recently developed 3 new opt-in programs that they want to grow. However, there are a few challenges to program expansion. The DOE is not a regulatory agency and has no means of enforcing compliance. Therefore, understanding what inspires ongoing participation is central to their work. Another challenge is scarcity of data. Often, what is available about program experience is anecdotal, and it's not collected regularly. Collecting insights from the New York City school system is also no easy feat. The city's public school system is the largest in the nation, with 1.1 million students across 5 boroughs, with over 100,000 employees and over 1,800 schools. Our project is composed of 3 parts. To support the Zero Waste program expansion, we were tasked with collecting insights into participant motivations through surveys and interviews. The core group of stakeholders that we reached out to include those who we define as leaders in shaping these programs: the Office of Sustainability, and program participants comprised of teachers, principals, custodians, and sustainability coordinators. We also spoke to subject matter experts to deepen our understanding of the topic. We evaluated survey data, attended school training events, and reviewed case studies nationally and internationally. And finally, we used this information to develop diagnostic recommendations with the aim of increasing program effectiveness and reach. To start, we worked with the office to design survey and interview questions, and after reading through responses, we utilized a word frequency analysis to identify potential trends within the survey results. There are a few limitations worth noting. Out of 129 schools contacted, we only received responses from 20. So the pool we're drawing information from is limited. Interviewing other important stakeholders, such as students, was beyond the scope of this particular project. And additionally, qualitative data analysis is subjective and cannot necessarily be generalized. So now let's take a look at some of the survey results and a few frequently discussed topics like we have highlighted here. One of the first areas we looked at was participant motivations. A lot of participants want to empower students in becoming advocates in their community. Many also share a passion for the subject and want to share that knowledge. Others also spoke about being incentivized about the quality training that is offered. We asked participants about what drivers are critical to the success of zero waste programs. Key findings included the importance of buy-in from school leadership, including real-world applications and curriculum, networking opportunities for teachers and administrators to connect about best practices and challenges. One area that came up as an obstacle is the amount of time and effort required to work on sustainability initiatives and the need for collective effort. Sometimes teachers are allotted extra time, but often it's done on their own time after school. Also, several participants were not clear about where to access available resources. Based on our findings, the main challenge that we seek to address are a lack of buy-in capacity and limited access to resources. For that reason, our ideas focus on improving accessibility to information and community building. The office asked us to develop recommendations that enhance existing practices and that can be done within their current budget and staff size. For our first recommendation, we know that there's interest in exchanging best practices, learning about resources, and integrating sustainability into curriculum. The office currently produces monthly training events based on participants' interests. The topics that arose in our conversation are several which could be incorporated. Next, expanding the reach of surveys offers new insights. A sustainability coordinator survey is distributed annually, yet we feel surveying a larger segment of the DOE population would serve the development of a more holistic strategy if initiatives are to expand to all schools. Another proposal is to create a pilot sustainability committee. The intent is to foster an ecosystem of accountability through committees instead of a single school coordinator. This could increase capacity for all green programs, including zero waste. The next recommendation seeks to define useful metrics and reporting that could be used by teachers. Teachers named a variety of methods to track waste, and collecting best practices could offer a connection point among classrooms and schools who are working toward the goal of zero waste. Lastly, as mentioned, there is sometimes confusion about locating information. As these initiatives expand, we recommend the creation of a centralized hub for employees containing curricular resources and other information. To recap, our final deliverables to our client include providing the Office of Sustainability with greater insight into what motivates participation, data from surveys and interviews that can be used to shape future programming, and finally, recommendations that were designed to help increase access to information and build community, elements which we think are critical for expanding zero waste programs. In closing, we hope the Department of Education can use these findings to support citywide zero waste goals, and also to bring about real change in how over 1 million young people think about waste and consumption. Thank you.
Okay, questions for Harmony?
Thanks. What proportion of the 14 million tons does the school trash represent?
That is a great question. So This is an example of some of the challenges with data collection around school waste. So as in one of the previous slides, there is public information that says schools produce annually 40,000 tons of waste every year, which is a very small amount compared to the larger waste that's produced in New York City. But there's a couple issues with that. So with the different there's different trucks that are used for different school programs in collecting waste. Some are school only, which offers a clear, that's actually weighed and you can tell how much that is. Others are commingled with residential, so it's challenging. We know it's over 40,000, but currently there's no way of knowing the exact amount. So that's definitely one of the challenges. Yeah.
You've piqued our interest here in the front row. So I was just curious, if you looked at, since you only had the 20 respondents to the survey,
yes,
were you able to look at your recommendations in light of other successful programs elsewhere?
So we did look at, so there's a couple points. I mean, we did look at other best practices among different programs. For example, the pilot sustainability committee that we offered as a recommendation is drawing on a model that's used in Washington, D.C. So there's that. And then there's also currently, for the past 3 years, I believe, currently there's been research at the Teachers College that's been done in partnership with the DOE. And they're the ones that are doing the sustainability survey. And so we have some of the themes that have arisen kind of are similar to what we've seen in what they've produced as well.
Okay, we'll take our last question there.
I'm going to cheat and ask a few questions.
Just one, Eugene, please.
Okay. So in terms of the data collection, were you guys able to actually speak directly with teachers or visit the schools to get some sort of validity of what you saw in the surveys? Mm-hmm. And based on all of these results, I mean, what do you think of the actual ability to reach a zero waste type of target, mm-hmm. practically?
So we had most of the information that we got from participants was through surveys, but we had 3 interviews, in-person interviews. And in terms of reaching the goal, I think that we've seen throughout other cities in the U.S. that it's been very challenging, and it's going to be an uphill battle in New York, given the size, the population size, the amount of waste that's produced. I know we asked participants as well their thoughts, and a lot, they think it's possible, but not probable. And not everyone, but yeah, so and also recommending policy, like that's what's needed, not just behavior change. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Herm.
Yeah.